Good morning, everybody, and welcome to PSG of Mercer County, and happy Aloha Friday. Any of you who are joining us for the very first time are probably seeing that me and Doug are wearing Hawaiian shirts. It's not a club. It's something that I certainly just like to do every Friday and have an Aloha Friday, a happy Friday. So it's just kind of my thing. And I want to welcome you all to PSG of Mercer County. The Professional Service Group of Mercer County is a group that is here for you. Anybody that is in any kind of career transition. Doesn't really matter why you were in a career transition. It could be that your organization had some sort of restructuring. That happened to me twice. Could be you're making this decision on your own to restructure accordingly. And change your career path. And of course, for some of us, it's possible that the pandemic and coronavirus just interrupting the work ability for us to work as well. And I know we'll get through that, but we are here to provide the resources needed for anyone to help be more efficient and effective in your own job search. In addition to being Aloha Friday, today is National Don't Fry Day. So it has nothing to do with the day of the week. It's don't be here on Friday. We want you here any Friday you want. And oddly, it's not about don't eat fried foods, and certainly there are people that probably minimize fried foods, but it's always apparently the Friday of Memorial Day weekend, which is kind of our symbolic start of summer, and it reminds us and it raises awareness of the risk of exposing ourselves to the sun. So some people are sensitive to the sun, and if you go out in the sun and you're a little bit sensitive, put on lotions or cover up with appropriate clothing to make sure that you don't fry. So today is National Don't Fry Day. Also, I mentioned the resources that we have to hopefully make you more efficient and effective in your job search. We do have a LinkedIn group. Hopefully you do have a strong and robust LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn is the #1 B2B job seeker or business tool. And so it is a tool that recruiters do use more and more than compared to other job boards. We have a LinkedIn group. Joining a group is a great way to connect with other people. And our group is over 1,500 members who are members of our group. So I'm going to say, excuse me, there is some background noise. Please mute your microphones. And it is a little tough for me to kind of do that, mute you while I'm going through the program. I'm going to take that time now because I do hear some noise. Hopefully that's all good. So sorry about that. So our LinkedIn group is over 1,500 members. These are all people that have been through our PSG group. So these are all members. What's nice about that, there may have been times when you've reached out to people who are on LinkedIn and they don't respond to you right away. And so you get a little frustrated. But what's nice about the PSG LinkedIn group, it's PSG of Mercer County, these are all job seekers. They have that same concern when they reach out to someone that they will respond. So it's likely of the 1,500 plus members, if you reach out to them, they will respond. And you may want to reach out to them if you are doing some preparation for an interview and you realize somebody in our group is also in the company that you're looking towards. So go take a look at that. And also, even if you can't use the LinkedIn email system called InMail, because you're not a first-degree connection with certain people, you can connect to those people who are not first degree if they are in the same group as you. So certainly join LinkedIn groups of interest, whether professional interest or personal interest. You can join up to 50 groups in LinkedIn, so save one of those slots for PSG of Mercer County. We do also have a website. It is also called PSG of Mercer County, psgofmercercounty.org. Our website has over 120 pages of resources for anyone who's a job seeker. It's not just a local website. It's really more robust and meant for anybody in job search. But we do have a lot of things that are meant for our kind of geographic area. For one thing, we have job search pages. It's a menu item right at the top of the menu of the website. The job search pages don't have any job postings, but what they do have is links to over 2,600 companies and their career pages, and that's just in Mercer County and the 6 border counties to Mercer County, so kind of our geographic area. And the fun little joke I like to say is, even if you live overseas in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, you are able to use our job search page because job boards, Bucks County is a border county. So what you do is you open up the page, click on the county of interest, and then up to 12 different categories will display. And when you click on that, we will highlight the companies, we'll provide links in those pages. So you can find maybe financial services, education, not-for-profit. There are 12 different categories that are there, all in that county you're searching. We also have 7 pages, or I'm sorry, links to LinkedIn for each of the same 7 counties, Mercer and the 6 border counties. So when you, I'm sorry, I said LinkedIn, I meant Indeed. So when you click on the Indeed for Burlington County, Indeed will open up on your website, and it will be of Burlington County. And now you can fine tune it looking for the job of interest for you. So we kind of get you started with using Indeed for either Mercer or the 6 border counties. Also, we have e-learning websites. I've talked to a number of people who are keeping busy now with the pandemic, keeping people at home a bit more often, and want to do e-learning. So what you'll see is there's a professional services tab right at the top of our website, and when you click on there, it has a link to our e-learning page. We have 35 e-learning websites, the links to those websites. So you can click right there and go right to that organization's e-learning. A lot of them are free, a couple of them or several of them are not. And even the ones that are not, you don't have to have subscriptions. You could just pay for the specific class if that's of interest to you. So it can be very either cheap, completely inexpensive and free, or low cost by instead of subscribing, just picking the class of interest. But something that's very interesting and very powerful is that when you go for your next interview, if you've been out for a while and the hiring manager or HR person asks you, so what have you been doing since you lost your job all those months ago? You, of course, will tell them, well, I've been job hunting. But a stronger answer is, I've been taking online learning to improve my skills. An answer similar to that is much more powerful. So if you're able to spend some time with e-learning, go ahead and do so. And we have that one web page that will point you to 30 different e-learning sites. One of the things we do like to celebrate are landings. And I'm wondering if anybody has landed recently. It doesn't quite happen as frequently right now, but if you have, and you want to quickly chime in and just say yes that you have. And there's Amy landing from wherever she is. Oops, she's.
I love that word, landings.
Yeah, well, I think Alex is
I
going to
use
have
it
to.
too.
Yeah, yeah. And then, you know, the other word I like, someone told me a while ago, I think is very appropriate, is who has perched. You haven't landed, but you perched. And that tends to be like a part-time or short-term position, and you know that you won't be permanent. You won't stay on the ground permanently.
You can know that. Perched.
So I thought that was a cute term, so I like to use that. I did hear my brother-in-law, not that I won't believe most of you have, but my brother-in-law did just land a job with a medical device manufacturing company in southern New Jersey. It does seem he was getting a lot of interviews. So if you were someone in the medical-oriented industry, and it doesn't mean that you're a medical person, it could mean you're an accountant or computer programmer or any other job. Those industries, the medical-oriented ones, seem to still be active. So you may want to look in there. So, you know, but maybe Alan, I believe he's on the call. We will count my brother-in-law Bill as someone who's landed because he is a member of our group and he is now working. So we will report one landing this week. Okay.
Right.
So again, just a couple of ground rules. Amy will take over the screen in just a moment, and so she will show you her her slide deck. You can do that anytime.
You'll help me with it.
Yep. And do keep yourselves, please, on mute. We are going to be a large group. We are over, let's see, 87 at the moment. Like I said, the last 3 weeks we were over 100 people at one point. So for people that chime in and interrupt, it's a little bit difficult during the presentation. And of course, any accidental background noise we want to minimize. So please keep your microphone on mute. There is a microphone setting at the bottom of your screen. Click that so it turns, it's either red or the arrow goes through it, the line goes through it. As for keeping your camera on, that's your choice. You're certainly welcome to or not, whatever you're comfortable doing. And so you can keep your video off if you like or keep it on. We are going to be using chat for questions. Again, with a large group, chiming in verbally is going to be a little hard. So the chat is on the upper right portion of your screen, the GoToMeeting screen. There are 3 buttons. One has a couple of people. Right now it says 87. Next to it is like a cartoon bubble. That's chat, and you click on that, and a little window opens up, and it gives you the opportunity to ask questions. So I will be watching that. Amy will be looking at that a little later, and we will be addressing our Q&A a little bit later through the program. So just ask that you do that. In a moment, I will also be turning off my microphone.
David, question for you.
Are you going to write it? Are you going to write it in chat, Amy?
Yeah,
What?
I wanted to know if you have my presentation open, or do I need to open it for myself and then share my own? Because I wanted to have yours open, but if you need me to open mine, I will.
I think it's a bit easier if you open yours and share your screen, because you can move through the slides at your own pace. If we have me open it, you're going to have to give me a little bit of a sign or say next, and I've got to advance it. So I've just made you presenter now, and so I suggest you accept that. You have that at the bottom of your screen. You could press the screen button. Okay. And then you want to share your PowerPoint and get that started by pressing the begin from first slide or the F5 key.
I'll have to open my PowerPoint. Okay, let's see. I get it. You trained me. All right. Let me know if this is it. I've had it.
Oh, yep. So I'm seeing it. And remember, if the little dashboard from GoToMeeting is in the way, it might be in your upper right corner. You can minimize that so it's not in your way. So just give me a second. Yep. So let me formally introduce Amy, even though we could all see her and she's been a part of the program since we opened the session today. So I'm just very pleased to welcome our speaker this morning, Amy Raditz. Amy is a dynamic, high-energy career coach who works for Lee Hecht Harrison, a global outplacement firm. She has over 20 years of experience counseling professionals looking for work, exploring career change, starting a business, or consulting, or pursuing active retirement. Prior, Amy has had a successful career in the hospitality and sales industry, marketing and customer service for 5 hotels and conference centers in the tri-state area. And as a meeting planner for an educational foundation, she organized and ran both domestic and international conferences. As an independent consultant, Amy designed and delivered customer service training for hotel employees in Russia, facilitated workshops with the World Game Institute, and counseled visiting European au pairs and their families for the Au Pair America. Amy graduated from Brandeis University with a degree in theater arts and foreign languages, and years later got her master's degree in counseling services from Rider University. She sings with an a cappella group, teaches hot yoga, and volunteers for her community in her hometown of Lambertville, where she lives with a boyfriend, Ken, and her cats, Olive and Clara. So for Amy, it's all about the journey, and PSG of Mercer County is very pleased to welcome the coach's coach, Amy Raditz. All yours, Amy.
David. All right, so I can minimize this now, right? There we go. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much. Can you hear me okay? I'm on? Okay. So welcome. I'm really glad
yes, I hear you.
Thanks, David, for that beautiful intro and reading my bio. So some of you I've seen before, and it's really nice to have new folks on. But the journey to self-discovery is a big theme for me in my life, and of course the lives of so many of the people that I work with every day. So, and David had mentioned to you that a big part of who I am and where I came from was the theater. So, as I like to do and start with, and let me just make sure I can move my slides as I'm doing this. I'd like to open up with a song. Who am I anyway? Am I my resume or just a picture of a person I don't know? And I'm moving my slides, Dave, and it's just not moving yet. So let me see if I can go to the next slide. I think I need some help with this.
Try your space bar.
Click on your slide. Take your mouse and click on one of your slides. That'll get the window some attention, and then you can use your down arrow or your mouse.
Okay, so I opened it up to full, and now I need to hit my down arrow. Well, it's not clicking, so it's not making
Amy,
me go to the slide.
click,
Yeah.
click. Take your mouse. Click on your slide. Your Who Am I slide.
Yep. There we go. Thank you, dear. All right. So you can see, everybody, that technology was not one of my areas of expertise in school. I was a theater major, and this is who I was. I went to New York after school, and I wanted to be on Broadway, and I did a lot of auditioning. And of course, there was a lot of rejection in that, and as there is when you're trying to make it on Broadway, you're trying to be a singer. But of course, it was really good for me. It was good practice for me for later on in life. And, you know, in A Chorus Line, which was a show from the 70s, which is what we were talking about earlier, you know, many people were auditioning at that time to be dancers in a Broadway show. And, you know, they were all great dancers. So dancing was part of who they were, and they loved it. They were passionate about that. But, you know, who were they behind the picture? That's what the director wanted to know. They wanted to know more about who the person was. And, you know, at that time, for me, I wasn't quite sure. I knew I loved to sing and dance, but, you know, really, what did I want to do and when I grew up? And so I needed to learn more about that for myself, as we all do. And what I find is that the people that I'm working with, and I've been working with folks for 25 years now, that are going through transition. And many times people are thinking about what they want to be when they grow up. In fact, that's the question that I get from a lot of folks when we first start talking to each other. You know, I'm not sure, Amy, what do I want to do when I grow up? And of course, we'll laugh about that. And, you know, we're not quite sure. We're thinking, you know, what have I been doing all these years? You know, is this what I really want to continue doing? Did I love what I was doing and the skills I was using, the way I was using them? Or, you know, it's a time to make a shift. It's a time to think about what else is there at this stage of my life, in my career. And, you know, questions come up, and, you know, those things can come up in any time in our lives, but maybe we don't take advantage of the opportunity to do some assessment and really think about, you know, is this the work for me? We may be in a career for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and not have really evaluated if this is still what I want to do. But because maybe we have a family, or, you know, we're taking care of parents, or we have children, we want to continue to get the paycheck and not really think about, well, what else might there be? So, you know, that was also something for me at a time in my life where I was at a crossroads, and I wasn't quite sure, you know, at one point, if I wanted to continue doing what I was doing. And at the time, I was in the hotel business, and I was doing sales and customer service, and that business, you know, at that time, we're talking about maybe the early 90s, became, you know, a commodity, and it was hard, and we were being judged on outcomes, and I was thinking, I don't know if this is really all there is or what I want to do. So also was at a crossroads, and I was conflicted. And so I've been there, and I have lost my job actually a couple of times. But at this time in my career, back in 1993, we're talking about, you know, I had just lost a job in the hotel business, and it made me go back to bed there, and that's me now. But I had some fear at that time and questioning, is this what I want to do? Am I worthy? I was uncertain about what else is there, and anxious to get back into the same thing, which is not really what I wanted to do. I didn't think that was really who I was anymore, and there were certainly elements of what I had done that I wanted to continue, but I wasn't sure, and it made me fearful, scared, as you can see in this picture. Which I hope it's not freaking you out. When I looked at this picture, I said, "Oh, maybe this is a little freaky picture," but I thought it would tell you the story of, sometimes you just don't want to get out of bed, right? And it's time to, and also time to think about what is there. So, it may be that you have in your mind, am I thinking about what I've been doing? Is it the right thing for me? And I had all of these things jumbled in my mind of what I enjoyed doing, what I thought I might want to do. What did I like about what I had been doing in the hotel business and training and sales and working with customers and doing customer service? And a lot of that I did enjoy, but I wasn't sure what the next step would be. And I didn't want to go back. I really wanted to make a switch at that time. And, in order to do that, it would take some work. It would take some thinking. It would take some evaluating. So I took a walk, and I do this every morning. And I hope that you do too, or you try to find time to take a walk. Because for me, a walk clears my mind. A walk, have a cup of coffee, and it really makes me think about, what's important, what's going on in my brain, and, what else is there out there that I may want to pursue. And, I'm a positive attitude type of person, but I needed to sort things out. And I also thought to myself that I need some kind of a routine. I have a routine to get myself settled, because here I was not working, trying to figure out what the next step would be. And it was a really pivotal time for me in my life and my career. So here's the bird doing the self-evaluation. You talked about perch, David. You mentioned the word perch, that made me think of this slide. And there's the bird sitting out looking out on the Delaware here. And I saw the bird a couple of days ago and just took the pic. So I live on the Delaware, and there's a lot of nature around now, a lot to see. So taking walks and self-evaluation, it's a real important part of the process. And for me, it was definitely what I needed to do. I didn't want to jump back in. I didn't want to throw my resumes out there for another hotel job. It just wasn't going to work for me. And in my situation, I did not have a large severance. I had maybe 4 weeks, and I was anxious about that, but I was married, and my husband was able to help support and provide the benefits at that time. So that was the opportunity for me. So I did some self-assessment, and what that meant for me was journaling. And journaling became a really important part of my journey. And I encourage anyone who has a lot going on in their brain, that this is certainly an activity that was helpful for me. I had maybe 6 books completed by the time that I was going through my journey, my process, and I would just dump my mind into my journal and put down whatever thoughts I had. I try to do it first thing in the morning, and it was really helpful just to get out of my head what was going on in my mind, and what it was that I was thinking about in terms of the different areas of life that I needed to consider and explore. And so from that, and I did a lot of napkin writing. So here, this is very non-technical, as you can see, but I call it my mind dump. And you'll see, if you can make head or tail out of what this says, I'll help you understand what it does say. So you'll see in different areas, volunteering and work and fun, family, friends, health, studying, learning, networking, and all of those were around me. My mind, my soul, my spirit, my body, all of that needed to be considered. And so I started putting together different thoughts and what would be representative of those. And you might be seeing other words there, which we'll get to in a little bit further in my story. But, everybody has their own story, and this was what I was going through. So think about it, of course, in the context of yourself. And so all of these areas were important parts that I started doing major self-evaluation on. And I was living in Plainsboro at the time. I wasn't on the canal at the time. I moved here maybe 15 years ago. But back in the early 90s, this was a big part of the process that I went through. And, self-evaluation is a process. This is a journey. So it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen necessarily in a week. So it did take some time for me to work through this process. I'm just turning. Another vision board is another way that I would start putting together the thoughts that I had in my mind. I'm a very visual person. So I started putting pictures down of areas in my life where I was working, or where my family, my friends, things that I enjoyed, like travel or singing. All of these things were important to me. And so I started creating a board for myself. And certainly this is something that you also could do, journaling, vision board, however it works for you. I encourage you, whatever inspires you to work through the process, then use those tools in order to make that happen. So once I started doing all of this, I started gaining some clarity on what it was that I might want to do, what I want to call myself, maybe, what it was, the skills that I wanted to use that I had been using, or maybe I need a little more help on strengthening those skills. And so this is a Wordle. And I'm sure you're familiar with this. If not, certainly go to wordle.com. You can drop your resume in there. You can drop your thoughts, and it will give you and highlight those keywords that are in your background, that are in the whatever you list on the Wordle, whatever you jump into it. And so strategy and life coach and motivating and inspiring, and these were all words that came up in my journal and my thoughts. And so that was an important clarity for me, important part of the exploration, what I wanted to pursue. I wanted to change, I wanted to shift, move from sales and marketing, customer service, and the sales, the end of the hotel business and meeting planning, and move into a new area where I could leverage my interests and talents and strengths and experience. And this was the direction that I thought I wanted to go in, but I wasn't sure. And so, of course, I needed to move forward to get more information. And I have a non-traditional approach to a search. It's more of a holistic look at everything. And so for those of you who work with me, and if you've heard me before, you know that networking is a major piece. Talk to everyone. And it doesn't matter. I talk to people who are doing counseling kids, counseling the elderly, counseling abused women, counseling all different types, career counseling, of course. And I started talking to people who were life coaches, and that I had read about, or I'd seen articles that I'd been referred to. So it was important for me to get that insight. What's going on out there? How do people create their careers in life coaching or career coaching? What worked for them? And so that was the strategy, a big part. And then again, I encourage everybody to don't limit yourself. You never know who's the key to the information you need or the contact you need in order to find the next opportunity. So again, talking to everyone was so crucial for me. And it didn't end in a week or a month. I mean, it's a lifelong skill, and something that you get better at as it goes, because you may not hear from folks and you may think nobody cares, they don't like you. But in truth, they're really not thinking that way. They're busy too. People are busy in their life. So it's really the way you approach folks. And what worked for me was approaching people with a curiosity, an interest. I really want to know about them. It wasn't about me. But from what they shared with me, helped me to develop, again, my path and my next steps. And I was thankful for that. And was very thankful for everybody that shared with me. And I stayed in touch with many of those people now, and they've become part of my family of folks that I know. So I'm looking down. One of the talks that I had that was pivotal for me was since I was interested in coaching and life coaching and career coaching, I went to a professional association for folks that were in human resources, or they were coaches as well. And there was this organization. It was actually a meeting that was held in Plainsboro, so it was really close to home. And it was a number of people there. It was a meeting, and they had a membership directory list that I was able to actually attend and go in and pick up. And I picked up the list, and it had a number of folks in there from the outplacement industry and people that were in human resources, as I said. And one of the people that was on that list, Diana, who worked for a company called DBM, which is Drake B. Morin. And I said, oh, I'd like to call her and see if she's willing to talk to me about what she does and about the industry. And as it turns out, after I called Diana, she answers the phone eventually. Didn't happen right away, but once she answered the phone and I told her who I was, she said to me, Amy, I recognize your name. Where are you from? Where did you live? And after talking with her, it turned out that we had known each other 20 years ago, or over 20 years ago, when I lived in Framingham, Massachusetts. And I was the Kelly Girl, where I was doing part-time work, administrative work, and she ran Kelly Girl services in Framingham, Massachusetts. And this was in the 70s. Small world, right? Small world. And Diana was open to meeting with me and talking with me about the industry, who she knew, what was going on. And long story short, I ended up working with Diana down the road at DBM. But she had turned me on to other people that were in the industry that I was able to then go and do the same and network with. And I had her introduction to help me do that. So talking to everyone is so crucial. And I will say, not everybody responds, and not everybody responded to me. So persistence is key. Really just go out there and keep making those calls, those outreaches, because people do want to help if they can. They just might not know how to, they might forget, and you want to be sure to just be persistent, but be professional, and you have to be bold in this process. So networking, and that's one key conversation with me, was really crucial, and that was part of what was on the napkin, if you recall, was the need to talk to everyone and to network. Another thing that was crucial for me, and I needed to learn. I had skills, I've been around, I had experience, but I still had things I needed to learn. And one of those things that I was thinking that I needed was to get a master's. And so, I had a bachelor's in theater and foreign languages, and I loved Brandeis and that opportunity to learn. But then, it was down the road here and looking into a new career. So I needed to evaluate my skills. And what I was told from my networking is that, it may be helpful to go back to school and study counseling. And so I did a lot of research on different schools in the area that had programs, masters in counseling. I talked to Ryder, and I talked to Trenton State at the time, and Rutgers, and I looked at to their programs. I talked to the head of the programs at the universities just to learn from them. They even referred me to a couple of students that had graduated. So it gave me some insight as to where I wanted to go. But I'll tell you, the pivotal piece for me and the choice that I made was because at Rider, they had a wonderful master's in counseling program. It was a 39 credit program, and it didn't require GREs. And at this stage of my life, which is I was in my late 30s here, and I really did not want to take GREs. I wasn't a great SAT taker. I took those 3 times, and I really didn't want to go back to testing. So Rider was the one that I really felt comfortable with. And I ended up getting into the master's in counseling program at Rider. I just took 1 class a semester over a 4-year period. So I started in '93, and from there, I just continued to work through the process while I was going through my career change. And school was very important. I also went to Mercer County Community College, and I took a class on Myers-Briggs, which I love assessments. So, you know, that was also another piece there. And ongoing learning, of course, is crucial. You have a lot of resources for that now, and you want to continue to take advantage of those. But the learning piece is crucial, and Rider was wonderful. I really enjoyed that time. Another thing, of course, that's so crucial for us is taking care of ourselves and our health. What I was doing back then wasn't enough in my estimation, and I joined a gym. I started walking more, doing Zumba, which I love to do. It's like dancing, and that was a lot of fun also, so it was enjoyable. But, you know, some other crucial things here are sleep and eating well, right? So getting enough sleep was really important, and that's not always easy, especially when you're going through stress and, you know, these times. But if you can go to bed early or find a way to grab that sleep, that's really going to be helpful for you overall, as well, of course, to you're eating well and trying to eat as healthy as I could. So that was a big part of the process. And again, that was another ring of my mind dump that you saw earlier. Eating well, sleeping, and just breathing. You know, yoga, as this picture depicts, and meditation, you know, became a bigger part of my life more recently. But as you heard, I'm doing yoga and teaching. But whatever works for you, take advantage of taking care of yourself that way. Health was an important piece of the ring here. Volunteering. This is a major part of my story. Volunteering and giving back. So while I was going to school, right, I was taking classes, right, and I was taking care of myself. But I needed to give back and to get some experience. And so, you know, a big part of working with folks, you know, we talk about volunteering and taking advantage of opportunity to get some additional stories under your belt. And we talk about this is networking and stories, so having experience. And I didn't have any real experience yet beyond my my past career of working as a life coach or career coach. I might have had some coaching, volunteering. When I was laid off from my last hotel position back in '93, one of the first things I did was go to unemployment, because as I said, I didn't have a large severance package. I collected unemployment, and I was doing that in Jersey, the Jersey Avenue office in Middlesex County. I was in Plainsboro. And lo and behold, what's in the early '90s, what was available in the unemployment office but PSG. So I got introduced to PSG back in '93, and it was another key component of my career journey, because at PSG, as you know, there's opportunity to volunteer. And there's opportunity to give back. And so I was fortunate to be able to join the training committee and experience, and also get some experience and be able to deliver workshops on resume writing and networking and interviewing and all the processes that I was going through and those of my peers that were at the unemployment office. Plus, it helped give me some experience of what I was also learning through my program at Ryder. So PSG has been a part of my life for over 20 years now, and volunteering and giving back through PSG was so crucial. I also did some other volunteering, United Way, and these were all, again, this is part of the research of finding out what was right for me, because I wasn't quite sure which area of the counseling field I wanted to get into. I want to work with students, the elderly, or be a career coach. And so I was trying to look for opportunities to get experience in all of these areas, talking to people, volunteering, and of course, family and friends were a vital part of this, having the support of my family and having the love and support of my friends was crucial. But then work. So let's talk a little bit about this. Work, where could I find work? I was paid for. So I wanted to look for opportunity to get paid for my skills while I was going through volunteering and school. It was important for me to see if I could get paid in any way to use my skills. And the way that I looked for that was through my networking. Certainly, I mentioned to you that I had spoken with Diana Carter at DBM, and through that networking and her introductions to different people, I was able to become a consultant. So I started consulting actually as a career coach with DBM and Lee Hecht Harrison, and that was actually a couple of years into it. But prior to that, when I first lost my job, I was looking for opportunity to continue to work if I could. And one of the opportunities that came to me was at a hotel. And so I mentioned I really didn't want to work in the hotel business anymore. But there was an opportunity that came my way right down the street in Plainsboro. The Ramada Inn was looking for a director of sales. And I applied for it and I interviewed for it. And when I had the opportunity to speak to the general manager, I said to him, I'm really looking to change careers at this stage of my life. However, I am available to take on this opportunity of the director of sales while you're continuing to look for the person that you really want. And in that conversation, the general manager was thankful that I was open to doing some contract or consulting work as the director of sales while they continued their search. So that afforded me 4 months of pay in a field that I knew while I was going through PSG, while I was going through school, which I actually started in the summertime. So I had a lot of things I was juggling, and I like to be active and like to be juggling many things. So that afforded me an opportunity to start doing some work. And that was work, of course, in the hotel business. But now I wanted to find some work in the area that I was interested in. So after I completed that, I saw an ad in the paper. It was in the Plainsboro local paper at the time. I was still looking at papers then. And I found an ad for an au pair counselor, au pair in America. So you heard in my bio that I did some work for au pair. And I applied for that, became an au pair counselor, and started working with young women who were coming from overseas to meet up with families and work with families. And I would match the families up with the au pairs. So I will be coming back to these things. So I'm interested. I just want you to be aware of ways to find work. There were opportunities for me to do that if I looked for them, and through my networking or just applying and part-time work to see how I could start using my skills. So I was doing that, and then fun. Fun is another part of this process. This is actually a poster from Lambertville. You know, we have a Shad Fest every year, and this was one of the posters, and it best reflected for me dancing and singing and living in town. And you certainly had to add that, or I had to add that, you know, into my search process. So I used to go to Lambertville quite a bit, even though I was living in Plainsboro and eventually moved here. But so important and so crucial to have fun, to have opportunity to enjoy life, even though you may be going through stress and there's obstacles and you're looking for opportunity for full time. So I took advantage of that and continued to do Zumba. And I was singing, as David mentioned, in an a cappella group, which I have been doing since '88 and still do today. So that was my outlet. You know, some folks like to garden, some to read, to ride a bike, but I like to sing. And that was really helpful for me throughout my career and my job search. So all of these things that I've been sharing, you know, work, part-time work, going to school, volunteering, enjoying singing, and juggling a lot of different things as I was going through this career transition. The pivotal year came in 1997. So I was actually doing all of this for about 4 years. And it was probably the most fun, most interesting time of my life. And a couple of things, well, a number of things happened in 1997 for me. And one of those was I started to do some traveling. And I was able to complete a number of things. I graduated in '97 from Rider with my master's. I completed working with Au Pair in America. And, you know, when the au pairs finish their year with their families, they get to go on a cross-country trip. And so in 1997, I was able to go on that trip with a number of au pairs out west. And again, that was a celebration of completing time working with the au pairs, because my work at DBM as a consultant started getting much busier and much fuller. As I said, I completed Rider, and I started doing, working there more at DBM and putting in hours for my final completion of time there. And that was really a turning point, and also I was turning 40, so a big turning point in terms of life. I did get to go to Russia at that time too, so I took some time to do some traveling and celebration of what I had been going through for all these years. And it was a joyous time, and I really learned a lot and was able to grow from that. And that moved me into ultimately finding a full-time opportunity as a career coach at DBM at Drake B. Morin in 1998. And that's what started my 20 to 25 years of working as a career coach. So it's kind of the culmination of all of that. And that brought me to my new beginnings. So, you know, this is a journey, and there was an ending, and there were new beginnings. And everybody that's going through endings right now, we all know that, you know, that's only the door to a new opportunity and a new beginning. So this is a quote that I really love to look at and show. It's been on my LinkedIn page. And you'll want to, you know, think about what doors are opening, even as you may feel things are closing. What inspires you and what moves you to move through this process that you may be going through, whether it's at work or anything in your life. Joyous occasions like George's daughter celebrating graduation and his excitement of as a father, that's new. But then also, things that are changing our lives with this new virus that we have, and we have to pull back and pause and take some time to think about, what's life going to look like? What do we want it to look like? And be empowered through that process. What I want to share with you also is one of the things that I put together for myself, and I've done this more recently, of course, with LinkedIn, is a community card. So I have a business card. I have a card that says LHH, doesn't have my picture on it, but I also have a community card, because our identities are more than just who we are, right, as our professions. So work for me is one part of life, and life is holistic. I like all the different pieces of that. So I'm a career coach, I'm a speaker, I'm a performer. All of those things are part of me, and this is my contact information, and this is my LinkedIn, and I'm also on Facebook, because I'm part of my community, and a lot of where I communicate with friends and folks that are in the community is on Facebook. So I wanted to share that with you as something to think about in terms of your own identity and where you are showing up in life right now, and how you can promote that. Also, I wanted to share with you a couple of resources. You have so many resources available on PSG, also, so many classes and articles that are out there. I get AARP now because I'm up to 63, and they're talking about getting ready for the new job market here. So anybody that's, I would say, over 50, you're in that space, or anybody, it doesn't really matter, because all of these things apply for wherever you are in life. You want to learn about digital communication platforms, So, and I just learned Zoom maybe 10 weeks ago, that I started using with my clients now at Lee Hecht Harrison, and how to have group meetings and work with people one-on-one. I can use it with my friends and family, and it's been a blessing. So it's certainly important. You want to polish up your profile, of course, because that's what people see now. They see your profile and they don't always see your resume. So your resume, you're going to share with folks when you're applying for jobs, but polish up your profile. And, this is where you have opportunity to really shine, however you promote yourself, with articles or with recommendations, or your about section where you can talk about who you are, and you can even show your contact information. So take advantage of that great tool and learn as much as you can about it. Of course, you want to be careful with your identity and make sure it's secure, and look for work from home jobs. Remote jobs are very popular now, and you want to take advantage of using your skills and your flexibility. Update your resume, of course. You always want to have a strong resume with strong accomplishments on it that you can customize when needed. Network, you're seeing network virtually. Well, of course, that's the name of the game today. Take advantage of that, all the opportunities as we're doing today to network with people as much as you can, and learn something new, right? And plan to work longer, because we're going to continue. And so I have an Encore career handbook. I love encore.org. That's a great site to consider how to make a living and a difference in the second half of your life, if that's where you are. If you're just starting out, again, What Color is My Parachute? There's many books out there to help you as well to evaluate careers, and taking advantage, hopefully, of all I've shared with you today. So I want to just share one thought for this again. As you see, you are the author of your life story. You can edit or rewrite any chapter, any character, any time. And this is a card I received from what's called the Blissful Warrior Experience, that has to do with my yoga, my hot yoga certification, which I did a couple of years ago, and went to Italy with my yoga teacher. And she shared this card with me, which again just reconfirms what I've been living and knowing for myself. And I share this with you because I believe in it. And so think to yourself what your story is and how you can enhance it and live it to its fullest. And that's my story. And I'm looking for questions or chats, and I have to let go of my screen right now. So
you can keep the screen up. That's okay, unless
that's okay. Okay.
Or if you stop sharing, you'll see more faces, more boxes. That's up to you.
Yeah, yeah. Again, this is my card. That's my picture on LinkedIn. Right now, I'll probably be updating that soon too, since that's a few years old.
So for anyone who has a question for Amy, either something in her story, you can certainly use the chat window. She and I will be monitoring. There are a couple of thank yous and inspirational appreciation for the inspirational sharing. And, you know, I'm kind of wondering, you know, as we kind of do our own self-assessment, what do you think it is we're trying to uncover in ourselves?
Yeah. It's, to me, and what it is, it's our truth. You know, it's our authenticity. It's reconnecting to who we are ultimately. You know, what's our true story? You know, I think that gets covered up over the years, you know, as we get judged and, you know, people tell us what to do, what we shouldn't do. And we lose sight of, you know, what's our passions, what's really makes us tick. And so for me, that was really a big part of it. As you grow up, you know, you may have those issues that come up about, are you worthy? You know, the fear of being all you can be, and what will people say? And I hear that quite a bit with my clients. You know, as we're getting older and we get to this point where we lose that identity and that opportunity to express ourselves at our work or do what we love or find something else. You know, there's all the struggles and the stress of what's been going on in life, but you know, behind that, we're still need to reconnect with, you know, what's really made us happy in life. And it's hard to do that, to kind of dig deep or peel the onion, as they say. It's hard to do that. You need support, motivation, inspiration, and at least I do. And that's what I want to give to others.
And so how do we know then it helps us identify what we want or should be doing professionally?
David, can I open up to my face here so that I'm talking with people for me personally? I just want to show my face in my screen. I'm not looking at myself, so I want to let go of this screen. And
yeah, so just stop sharing, or I can take it back from you.
Yeah, here we go. All right, so I see myself here. Yeah, if you can take it back and then we can. No, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I'll take care of that. So I was wondering from self-assessment.
Yeah, okay, good.
So from self-assessment point of view, how do you translate that into how do I know what I want to do professionally? Because of course we're thinking about job search right now.
Right, and so, you know, again, from my story, it was going through those steps, that process to figure out what the skills were, and then finding out how those skills are needed in the market in order to then put the tools together, the communication together to get out there and start talking to the people that would hire me or could use me as a solution to their problems. And it is a circle. But, you know, as people are going through this right now and they're assessing themselves, if they know who they are and you feel like you've got the skill set, you have the experience, and you know what you want to do, of course, that's a leg up. You have that piece. But now, how is that in the market? How does that fit into today's market? And in order to understand that and make the connections for that, you have to network and you have to talk to other people. You have to do your research and find out what am I called today? You know, if I'm a project management or digital transformation, or what are the skills and how are they expressed on the postings and when I'm talking to people, just understanding the market. Because if you don't get that insight, you may be still a step behind thinking, this is who I am, what I do, this is what I've been doing, and this is what I'm going to continue to look for. But you really have to connect the dots and fill the gaps of your knowledge so that you are expressing and communicating most effectively. And so that's what I see. People haven't done their resume for a while. They, have to update it. They have to update it with the current verbiage that's out there.
And so there are a couple of questions, but keeping to the self-assessment line, do you have a recommendation for best program for self-assessment like Myers-Briggs or others?
Well, I don't have a recommendation for the best. I mean, Myers-Briggs is certainly, and many of us who have been working in companies may have taken Myers-Briggs. I'm an ENFP, surprise, extrovert, feeler, intuitive, perceiver. I like to keep options open. And, I took that 20 years ago, and I thought that was really nice to confirm what I knew about myself. And then I read up on job titles and positions that, ENFPs would be drawn to. And lo and behold, things like sales and counseling and performing. So it was helpful. So that may be something to consider taking. There are many other assessments out there, many other books out there. I've read Amy Cuddy's Presence, which I thought was a very strong book that helped me, again, think about how to be me, present myself. And I'll encourage everybody to listen to TED Talks and on these topics. So rather than additional resources, which there are so many out there, I would encourage you to do some self-assessment on that.
Okay.
David? Yeah.
Maria has a question. This may need a little clarity, Maria. You're asked, what is the best coaching training? So I'm wondering, what type of coach do you want to be?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of coaching training out there. IFC, the International Federation of Coaching, is
career coaching is what he's asking. Career coaching, okay.
Yeah, career coaching. So, for me, I put in Google's life coaching, career coaching, and a lot of opportunities came up for training on that. And certainly LinkedIn Learning has classes on that as well. But the IFC is the International Federation for Coaching, is one that if you want to get certification, I would definitely look at that. I did not need to get a master's in counseling in order to do coaching. And many of you are coaches. You've been coaches in your jobs. You have been mentors. And so you have that already in you. Now it's a matter of do you need a certification for this? Do you need additional training or to close the gaps? And that would be something I would look at. I would talk to people who have done this before, as we're doing right now, and as I did, and learn from them what worked for them too. So that would be the site I'd suggest right now.
Terrific. Okay,
Yeah.
Well, we're still online. If you have a moment, feel free to ask a question. Otherwise, we will just move on towards wrap up. But I don't want to cut anybody off who's got a thought or an idea or want to ask Amy a question while we've got her attention right now.
I have a final song too, so I'm going to hear you at the end just to close it all.
One.
So tell me when you're ready. I look at 27 chats up there. Is that what you're monitoring right now?
Well, yeah, but a lot of them are, showing appreciation and thank you. They enjoyed the program. And as much as we appreciate that you appreciate it, it's like, I want to thank each and every one of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We're not going to read that.
Yeah, I see Kathy's question there.
How do you explore what you really want to do while you're, how do you want to explore what you really want to do while doing the work you're doing? Is it distracting?
That's a great question, Kathy. And you heard me tell the story, and I'll kind of come back to that. distracting wasn't the word. It was actually exhilarating for me. So being able to explore what I loved doing or wanted to do, and then actually having a chance to present at PSG as a volunteer and to do part-time consulting at DBM and working with people one-on-one, that was for me confirmation and very exciting. And that's really what it's about, is trying to do the work while you're looking to learn more. So I don't know if I'm answering the exact question you have, but while you're still working at something that you don't like. Okay, yeah. And while you still have a job and you're working at something you're not enjoying, then how do you move forward? How do you get out of that and start looking for other opportunities? I'm still going to go back to, when I was in the hotel business and I was getting bored of sales and I was not doing well also, and thinking about, oh my God, can I get out of this? They helped me with that, but can I get out of this? And what else is there? That's when I started doing the research and looking into myself, of course, doing the Myers-Briggs. I was doing things like that in order to get some insight, some confirmation. So I would do those self-assessments now. I would talk to people who you look at, who are in your connections, and you say, wow, I really love to do that type of work, or what's that like? And just have those conversations with people to understand their story. And that is so helpful. I mean, when I was in the hotel business, I had people come to me that wanted to get into the hotel business, and they were either studying or working somewhere else. And they would say, Amy, would you take 15 minutes to talk with me about what it's like to be in the business, in your industry? And I would give them that time because they were excited about the industry. And I was excited about it too for many years. But at some point, it ended up not being the right thing. So, we stay with things, we go back to things because we need to, or we feel we need to, or we feel we can't do anything else. There really is opportunity to move forward. It does take work, it does take strength, and continuing to build your confidence in yourself. But again, you need that support around you in order to help you move forward. Was that an answer to that?
Yep, seems to be. Okay, a couple more thank yous. So going once, going twice.
It's great to see you all, and
Yeah.
Please link with me. And remember, it's in your hands. It really is in your hands, this process. So take advantage of it. If I can be of help to you down the road, let me know. And one recent song that very important continuation to build my confidence is something that Carole King has performed. I love her. But if you've seen her recent show, then you'll recognize the song. And please sing it with me if you want. You've got to get up every morning with a smile on your face and show the world all the love in your heart. Then people gonna treat you better. You're gonna find, yes you will, that you're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful as you feel. Peace, everyone. Thank you. Please take care of yourselves.
Certainly very appropriate ending song. Absolutely. So thank you so much. I was, really paying attention very closely. I liked what you talked about, Diana, and about speaking to everyone. There's tremendous value to reaching out to former colleagues or classmates, people in the community. I'm not sure if Marty is on, Marty Latman. He's someone that reaches out to his hairstylist, and he keeps active, and it's always very helpful for everybody when you reach out to people and keep active that way. Amy talked about volunteering and volunteerism. It was really big for me. I landed at PSG when I first became unemployed. Steven Spritzer got me active right away in the IT committee, and it really was very uplifting. It also helped start my independent career. I took a volunteer opportunity with a local not-for-profit in Trenton, which led to more opportunities to work with other not-for-profits. So here I started with a volunteer opportunity, and it helped define my career path. And of course, I'm active now, continue to be with PSG of Mercer County and other career support groups. So volunteering is great as a gap filler. It's uplifting. So it's terrific that that came out as one of the key points here. So again, Amy, thank you so much. There's so much value in this presentation. I'm so glad you gave us your time this morning. Also want to let you know, if you are not yet on our emailing list, we do send out an email every Monday morning about our upcoming meetings. You can just send an email to us at psgofmercercounty@gmail.com, psgofmercercounty@gmail.com. Just let us know you were on a recent presentation and you want to get on our emailing list, and we will add you. As for other opportunities, and also to let you know, the slides, Amy's slides that she presented, they are now on our website. They are there right now. On the right side of every page of our website, there's a link called Meeting Presentation Documents. Click on Meeting Presentation Documents. A new page will open, and it will show you Meeting Presentation Documents. And so her slides are there now. By the end of today, we'll have today's video and the chat session as well for anyone that wants to go back to that information. That'll all be by the end of today.
David,
yeah.
Can I just shout out to you? David was so helpful to me putting this together. So he helped me put together my PowerPoint, and I really want to thank him outwardly. So thanks again, David, for all that you do for PSG as well.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to help, and I'm glad that we got Amy has done this presentation and this theme for a long, long time, and typically does not do so with a slide deck. But we felt the slide deck in the webinar-oriented platform would just work a little bit better. So I'm glad we great. I'm glad that you have that. So thanks.
I was supposed to do this on March 13th. I don't know if they knew that, but you know, I was supposed to be there in the library again as my annual, and so I'm so glad to be able to do this online. It's different, and I hope to see you in the library again in the future so we could do some more interactive exercises, which is what I really love to do.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to us getting back to the library. Just to let you know, the library did let us know this week, Princeton Public Library, they will not be holding any programs through the end of September. So we are now planning our virtual programs. We're going to keep them going through, I believe it's October 2nd, which is the Friday. And then we have to wait to hear from the library. So we are planning to be online and provide support and guidance the way we always have, virtually, and we'll take direction from the library, but we too are looking forward. We miss all our library friends. Other things that are coming up, we will be right back here online next week. It's May 29th next week. I can't believe that we've been over 2 months in this requirement to be more sheltered at home. Beth Fitzgerald, the life coach, Beth Fitzgerald will be joining us. How to reduce stress naturally. And I think for a lot of us, it's needed now. So it is actually her most requested presentation. I've known Beth for a while, and I think it's just wonderful that she's able to give this program to us. So how to reduce stress naturally. Also, the following week, June 5th, George Pace will be presenting. I'm so glad, and George is on the call today. Hopefully he's still here. He will be talking about the future of work. And I think there's going to be a lot that's very relevant now, because the impact of coronavirus and a pandemic is drastically impacting the future of work. A lot more people are working from home, and that trend will continue as well. Other observations that he has. George does also host a live webinar series each Sunday morning. You can find it on his Facebook page. It's facebook.com/keeppace, all one word. Facebook.com/keeppace, and it's all recorded. The library is there as well, so you can go look at prior ones. But those are wonderful series that he's been doing for over 2 months. Other programs coming up. June 13th, just a couple of weeks away, the Breakfast Club of New Jersey will be meeting virtually, and their program is going to be by Eileen Sinnett, Body Language for Job Seekers. And I think that's more important now than ever because, you need to be aware, certainly on video interviews as well, some of the things that we do that may not be as apparent to us, but get picked up on video. And certainly in person, when you have the opportunity for in-person interviews, there are things that we do naturally that some people may question in their own mind, and she will help us understand that. PSG of Central New Jersey, they're also virtual every Monday, but their program has changed. This Monday coming up is Memorial Day. They are moving to Tuesday, the 26th at 10:30, and Terry Seaman will giving a presentation, Staying Sane, Active, and Motivated During the COVID-19 Crisis. So there's a lot that's being offered to us, which is terrific, about stress management and the issues around being in our house and not being out or able to interview as freely right now. So take advantage of any of these programs. So as a reminder, our video will be available this afternoon. It will be on our YouTube channel. The link will also be in the section where we have Amy's meeting presentation documents. To get to our YouTube channel, you could just open up YouTube and look for PSG of Mercer County, go to our website, psgofmercercounty.org, and click the YouTube link. And you can watch any of our 8 or 9 videos that we've had for the past few months. So I want to say thank you very much again to Amy. Thank you for participating. Folks on the call, thank you for joining us this week. Glad you were able to join us. And I hope that you all stay healthy and safe and have an enjoyable, maybe slightly modified Memorial Day weekend, virtually welcome in the summer and getting into our warm weather. So until we see you all hopefully next week, have a terrific week and take care, everybody.